I don't know if I got this part into the last post because of how many times I've had to record this, but I just want to say I could give Taylor Swift the benefit of the doubt and continue to say, like, mildly defend her and be like, maybe she's a victim also of Blake's false narratives. Because we know Blake's pattern of behavior so far is that she will take an event that factually happened and wrap a narrative around it to tell it, spin it differently than how it actually occurred. An example is the hot comment. It factually happened, but it did not happen in the context. It did not happen according to the narrative that Blake wrapped around it. So I could give Taylor the benefit of the doubt and be like, oh, she's another victim, most likely, of Blake's pattern of alternate truth, of alternate reality, of misrepresentation, of misunderstanding, like misperception, if you will. But then at the same time, it's kind of like, but then Blake or Taylor doesn't have the pause to check in and check reality. And here's the thing, she could take this moment, and if it is factual that she has distanced herself from Blake, and if it is factual that she understands that the evidence that's being presented is completely different than the story that she was told, she could come out with a statement and say, you know, I apologize. I prioritize the concerns and needs of my friends. I believe women. And in this circumstance, I believed the story that my friend was telling me about her concerns for her safety. I believed that I was supporting somebody who was being exploited and vulnerable. And that's it. She doesn't even have to say anything else, that she is or isn't friends with Blake. She could just say that at bare minimum. I don't even know if it can go to an apology to Justin, because this, we as marginalized people, especially in the arts industry, we are so desperate and so thirsty for people who represent, care, support, and actually meet our needs. Like, example, the theater that I work with right now, there are so many people that are in our industry and factually take jobs with our company. They will fly across the United States. They will come here, live here for months at a time, because we are one of the only theater companies that has and provides housing, even to our interns, that type of situation. The theater company that I work with puts their money where their mouth is in terms of changing the standards of the industry, of improving the standards of the industry for artists and professionals, and really comes through in a way that we are desperate for across the market throughout the theater industry. You know, to find a theater position of any kind that comes attached with housing, not just, livable wages, it's almost impossible. And so we've had some amazing interns because they're like, no, it had housing, and not only had housing, but transportation. Granted, sometimes the transportation can be a little sketchy because they're donated vehicles, kind of a deal, but we're a small community. We pitch in, we're the little town that could. So when it comes to an artist that does things like the bonuses for the dancers on the Eras tour, it is very hard for me to wrap my mind around the inconsistency, the opposition. Because on the one hand, we so desperately want to wrap our arms around somebody who goes to bat for us. But then something like this, and so I, again, can give her the benefit of the doubt and think she's a victim of Blake's narrative spin. that seems to be happening consistently throughout this case. But the problem being is that even if that is the factual case, Taylor didn't slow down to inquire, didn't slow down to like reality check. Is this really the way this guy is? She doesn't even know him. She doesn't have a working relationship with him. Sure, she was at the dinner, whatever that was. But then I'm also kind of like, these text messages, I'll show you the one later where Blake's checking in and kind of like, oh, I wasn't sure if we're still friends, kind of a deal. That's even after Taylor was at the dinner at Blake and Ryan's house when Justin got berated by Ryan. How can you watch somebody just destroy somebody and not verify, not check in with the reality? Because again, this all just smacks of Penn Badgley Gossip Girl. And for whatever reason, Blake is expert at isolating a person, which is what happened with Justin, which is what happened with Jamie Heath. She has an expert pattern ability to break relationships, to create distrust, and to intervene on already established connections and belief in another person. And that is terrifying. And I think that's the biggest reason why, out of all of this, Blake will most likely never be trusted to be brought in on another project, because every single person in the industry is going to look at her and wonder, will I be next? And if they aren't thinking that, then that is putting themselves at risk. And I think that is the bigger thing that Blake and people like Blake ride on, is the benefit of the doubt, one, and two, they're like, nah, somebody can't be that bad. Which I believe is the air of belief that Justin rode in on into this project, thinking like, oh, she's difficult to work with. Like, she can't be that difficult, especially if you're someone like Justin and you're willing to afford a person, all of the things, all of the accommodations that they're requesting in order to feel comfortable, in order to feel safe, to build rapport and to build a personal, professional working relationship. Like, how could you ever conceive, if you're kind, supportive, compassionate, communicative, that would ever be thrown in your face and weaponized?